Are you feeding yourself with the best of meals, or are you feeding yourself with garbage? I know when we hear someone talking about self care, we tend to think about, oh, she wants to spoil herself. She wants to pamper herself. She's probably going to get her hair and her nails done. She's probably going to spend 3 hours in the shower making sure that she does not miss any part of her skincare routine. Or maybe it's a solo date and whatever it is. But, well, that's a form of self care, but that's not what we'll be talking about today. Today, we'll be delving into the deeper form of self care. What exactly is self care? And as moms or as women, whatever category you find yourself, how can you sustain self care? I also will be sharing a personal story of how I didn't pay attention to a couple of stuff and then I. So, to my amazing subscribers, welcome back and thank you so much for sticking around. And for those of you who are just new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more related content. Here we do everything that helps moms rediscover themselves after having their baby. We talk about intimacy, we talk about relationships, we talk about finding purpose after having your baby. This is a community of moms, a community of women who want to rediscover themselves after having their baby. It's not about how much experience you've had as a mom, or probably if you had three, four, five kids. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about how well, not how far, but how well. How can we pick up ourselves again after we've had a baby? It's never too late. It's just about progress and not perfection. Without saying too much, let's just delve right in. Let's be honest, just like every one of us there, I used to think that self care was about everything on the outside. I used to just picture self care as, oh, I'm going to go get my hair, my nails done, a spa session, bubble bath, oh, get some fancy clothes. Everything on the outside was what I got satisfaction from, and I called it self care. I did not think that, oh, the days I had to spend time reading or the times I had to, learn a new skill, I did not see that as a form of self care. The problem here was I was just doing it when I could do it. There was no consistency. Some days I wake up and I'm on my 100, and the other days I just look for an excuse and not do it. But like I said, I wasn't consistent. Even at work, I just took on everything I could take on because I wanted to be doing something, which is my personality. I did not check in with myself to say, Gumi, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you can do this? Because there's a thing with wanting to do something, and then there's another thing with if you can do it. Or, do you even have the time to do it? So all of these factors I did not check it. So burnout happened, I felt exhausted, I get overwhelmed, and of course I had to reset because I realized that self care is not luxury, it's a lifeline. You really need to self care. So I had to reframe and rebuild. And this led me to discovering a three-part approach to sustainable self care, which I'll be sharing today. So, part one, mindfulness. This is the foundational aspect of self care. You need to know what you need and when you need it. You need to check in with yourself, reevaluate yourself. How well are you doing? Listen, if you're not doing any of this, I'm sorry, you're not doing self care properly. If you're only focused on the outside or outer part of self care, then I'm sorry, you're not doing it rightfully. Sometimes you just need to wake up in the morning and just breathe. Ask yourself, what do you need? How are you doing? How are you faring? How can things be better? Now, that's you being mindful of yourself. Slow things down and reset from within. You probably want to reflect on things that you're grateful for, because sometimes you get so overwhelmed that you only see the negative part of life, but you're not even seeing any part that you should be grateful for. But that's the reason why you need to slow down. Think about things, even if it's the littlest things you're grateful for. Stay away from your phone and let your mind just breathe. It's so easy for you to probably drift away and lose focus, and that's why you need to always reset and tell yourself, today I protect my peace, today I protect my mind, today I'm going to be okay, today everything is going to fall into place. You need to be very, very positive. Every morning you need to be mindful. That's one part we really take for granted. So after you've done the part one of it by being mindful, this brings me now to part two, which is feed your soul. Hey, mamas, you can't pour from an empty cup. I mean, what are you going to be pouring? What are you feeding your soul with? Are you feeding? We stopped to think about what you're feeding yourself. I know very well that right now the whole world is talking about self this, self that, self this, self motivation. If you go on social media, there are lots of quotes, there are lots of affirmations and all of that that makes it look as if it's all about self. Oh yes, the Bible says that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Through Christ. So as a Christian, personally, I like to say this: the Bible is the only way you're going to find your worth. So how often do you feed from the Bible? Are you feeding yourself with healthy meals, or are you feeding yourself with garbage? Now, there's lots of garbage out there, but how are you able to filter and sieve all of that and make sure that you're feeding yourself with things that can renew you, things that can basically edify you? Now, that is another form of self care. You need to feed your soul. You really need to feed your soul because you cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to have something in for you to be able to give out. Otherwise, what are you giving out? You need to connect spiritually, whether it's through prayers or journaling or whatever it is. You need to find your center. Probably listen to an uplifting music, a podcast, an audiobook, whatever it is. Just do something that feeds your soul and make sure it feeds your soul positively. And after we've done the part one, which is being mindful and talking about and then the part two, which is feeding your soul, and now in the part three, caring for your body. Listen, none of these three parts are autonomous. They all have to go side by side. You cannot be just caring for your body until you're practicing self care because self care flows from the inside out. And listen, ma, when I talk about caring for your body, I'm not here to talk about manicure, pedicure, spa dates, or all of that thing that makes you look all. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just the basics, which is just hygiene, rest, and nutrition. Listen, mama, your child is not going to suffer any harm if you have to just keep your baby for 5 minutes and take a quick shower. No. Myself, I've never been a fan of babies crying. I used to think that, oh, when your baby cries, then there's a problem. There's something wrong. Probably you're a wicked mom. Why would you see your baby crying and not go after her? No, 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 no. That was my wrong. And that made me feel like I have to always be there, just sitting by, waiting for the baby to not just cry and pick her up. No, that's not a good thing. And don't just say that because I'm a mom and I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to make something good for me because I'm getting so overwhelmed with all baby stuff and everything and all of that. And then you just begin to throw everything around that you see to eat. When I talk about caring for your body, it has everything to do with your nutrition. It has everything to do with what you're eating. You need to eat healthy. You need to focus on eating healthy because that's the only way you're going to feed your baby healthy. And mom, that's the only way you're going to stay healthy, to look after your baby. Yes, you need to find time to rest, regardless of all of the whole chaos that comes with motherhood. And then you have to balance motherhood. Probably you're working like me and all of that. You need to find time to rest. Now, that is you caring for your body. So, like I said, these three forms of self care cannot exist, without the other. So, now that we've spoken about the three important, powerful approaches to self care, now let's talk about how we can sustain self care. Number one, self care must be included in your daily activities. Listen, self care is not a one off thing, it's not something that you do once in a while, like a festival. For self care to be effective, it has to be habitual, it has to be included in your daily routine. Moms, it's not what you're going to do once in a blue moon, it has to be consistent for it to be effective. Self care is not a recovery program. It's not an ambulance waiting at the bottom of a cliff for you to just fall and then it picks you up and then quickly to the hospital. No, it's something that has to be done to prevent you from feeling overwhelmed. Listen, moms, it must be in your daily routine. So, number two, you need to put effort. You need to put in the work. Just start. Focus on progress and not perfection. Just make sure that you're including self care into your routine every day, regardless of how small. And number three, you need to learn to say no. Say no when you have to say no. There's no how you're going to do everything. Motherhood is a huge job. You need to be able to focus on things that really matter. And everything that does not matter should not deserve your time or energy. So please learn to say no. So, mama, you deserve to bloom again after baby. Self care doesn't mean that you're being selfish. And when I talk about self care, I mean the three parts of self care, which is mindfulness, feeding your soul, and then caring for your body, and also sustaining it with making sure that it's fixed in your daily routine, and also putting the work and learning to say no. Because when you practice self care, you show up as the best version of you. You show up for your baby, you show up for your family, and most importantly, you show up for yourself. So, mama, let's stop surviving. Let's start blooming again because that's why we're here to bloom again after having our babies. You're strong, you're resilient, you're a super mom, you've been doing an amazing job. Don't forget, you always need to look after yourself. If this video resonates with you, don't forget to like, share this video to a friend, a mom, a sister, someone who needs to take self care seriously as a form of support to them. In the meantime, share with me one small way you'll be prioritizing yourself this week, and I'll be in the comment section to cheer you and support you through your journey.